ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Welcome to the 6th episode of the Galloway and Isabel podcast. My name is Thomas Galloway. To my right is Evan Isabel.
Evan Baby Isabel.
Evan Baby Isabel. A little foreshadowing there. How are you, Evan Baby Isabel?
I'm doing Babylicious.
All right, Babylicious. Noah Galloway. To my left. How are you, Noah?
I'm doing awesome, as always.
He's doing awesome as always. Okay. I like that. All right. We just got done seeing Baby Driver. And Noah and I saw it last night, so this is the second night in a row we've watched it, and it was just as good for me this time, or almost as good, like, as good as it can be on the second time.
It was a little bit more predictable for me, but
It's usually how it works, yeah. Also, last week we all saw Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, good movie.
Good movie,
Yes.
and we're going to talk about those movies, and also talk about, depending on how time goes, talk about our other favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do it.
And first, this podcast is brought to you by Morning Bell Coffee Roasters. Morning Bell offers a diverse and unique selection of specialty coffees and have direct personal relationships with their suppliers. Every morning I make a latte with my espresso machine for myself and whoever else happens to be around, and I always use Morning Bell coffee. It's always different, always interesting, and overall a great way to start the day. You can visit Morning Bell at 111 Main Street in Ames, Iowa, or get their coffee at the Wheatsville Co-op or either Hy-Vee location in Ames. And if you'd like to order online, you can visit their site morningbellcoffee.com, and shipping is free anywhere in the United States if you order over 2 pounds of coffee. And whether you visit the actual location or order online, let them know we sent you. They like hearing how new customers hear about their business, and it shows us and them that this sponsorship thing actually works. And at some point in the near future, as we mentioned in the last episode, Morning will be providing us some gift cards to give out to listeners in a fun and creative way. So if anybody has any ideas how we should give them out, like kind of games or trivia or whatnot, we're certainly open to those ideas. Okay, so Baby Driver, what do you, initial impressions, or what, Evan, this is the first time seeing it. Do you have anything that you'd like to say about it?
Well, my physical response to the movie was like I was always like I kept like having to like sit myself back in the seat and remind myself like I am watching a movie. I do not need to like be like so intense. Like I was all flexed up. Like
Right.
I was very tense, I guess,
Yeah.
because it's so action packed.
Right. And this is kind of you mentioned last week when we saw Wonder Woman that you hadn't seen a movie in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it like seeing those two movies, pretty action heavy movies, after not having seen a movie for a while? What's that like?
It's like I don't know. It's how do you explain it? It's very you forget like how movies feel for me anyway, because I get so intense with my like studying my courses because I need to focus on my stuff,
Right.
and so I can't like let myself fall into these traps of like, oh, I'm gonna watch 1,000 hours of Netflix a week, so I have to like get so focused and tell myself like, no, shows are stupid, shows are boring, there's nothing there. But then like when you start watching like a really good movie,
Right.
you get so into it, and it's like so much more vivid when you get to see the characters develop, and it's so crazy, and like the director's done some really good work with like in Baby Driver with the audio and how like I can't remember the word for it, but like how when Baby, the main character, he'd have his headphones in, and that's when the music would be the loudest, is when the headphones were in, and then like when he took them out,
Yeah.
the audio in the movie would go down
Right.
as well with the
Or
sound.
like, when you took one out, it would just like diminish like halfway or to a third.
That's a really cool dynamic.
Yeah. The soundtrack was pretty incredible because the second time watching it, I noticed a number of things, and there's like 3 things, but Noah, first, as far as the second time watching it, what did you get out of it that you didn't get out of it yesterday?
come back to me and let me think about that.
Okay, so this is why Baby Driver is great for me. It has 3 things that I really like. One, we talked about the soundtrack. It's incredible, and it's even so like I was noticing that there's like no break in the music pretty much throughout the movie. They made a couple scenes where it's just words and whatnot, but you could just listen to music. It's like listening to songs over again that you already like. Like you're just listening to a soundtrack of songs you like. Mm-hmm. You happen to be watching a movie too.
Yeah.
So even if the movie itself is not a part that you really love, you're listening to a song that you probably like because the soundtrack is very, very good.
Oh, and also my grandmother loved this movie.
Your grandmother
Oh,
loved
nice,
this movie.
yeah.
So
Alright,
like
10 out of
everyone
10.
that I've talked to loves this movie,
Right.
including my grandma. It's like a 10 out of 10. My grandma would see it, and she'd see it again.
Right. So yeah, that's another thing I was thinking about with the 100%. At first they were promoting this movie and talking about how they had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I can see how that could happen with this movie because if you just like action, like this is plenty for you. If you're
You're sappy.
yeah, if you're more of a movie snob and you want the character development and the storyline, like it has that too. Like it will please pretty much everybody. And that I think it dropped to like 93% since then because that's what happens with Rotten Tomatoes. There's always a few just people.
They're like, hey,
Yeah.
I don't want someone to have a really
Right.
good movie and feel happy about themselves.
There's like one guy who you can see who's giving the reviews. There's one guy who gave a negative to. He's given the only negative to The Godfather out of like almost 200 reviews and dropped that down to 99%, I think.
Wow.
And yeah, so yeah. Yeah, and then he is the same guy gave like a negative review to some other movie that I think he was like one of the few negative reviews.
How do you get onto that? Like, can anyone
Yeah.
go on and?
I tried to do this because I was doing a couple movie reviews, like writing them. I was like, I wonder what the minimum requirement is to do Rotten Tomatoes, to vote on Rotten Tomatoes, and you have to have a certain number of movie reviews on a certain level of publication, and like they review your credentials and stuff.
Okay.
So it's difficult, and like if you even the best movies don't have, they might have like a couple hundred reviews, a
Okay.
couple hundred, so which is a lot, but it's enough to get an idea of how good the movie is.
So you've got to be doing like, if you're a critic, you have to be doing as like either a hardcore hobbyer, like a hobbyist,
Right. Hobby. I don't know.
hobbyist.
It's definitely a profession. Like these are all professionals that are doing this. Okay, so first thing that make a good movie, soundtrack. The second thing, there is a girl with curly hair.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think there's two
Yes.
girls with curly hairs.
yeah, I mean,
Was it the one of the bad guys?
oh, darling.
Darling, she had some curling hair.
Yeah, she has some curly hair. So curly hair. That's the second thing that makes a great movie. A girl with curly hair. The third thing, a lot of scenes inside parking garages.
Oh yeah.
Parking garages are awesome.
Mm.
We were talking about this on the way over here when Noah and I parked in the parking garage. Like, Baby Driver has a ton of scenes in the parking garage.
Mhm.
Because if you think about how, if you were to, there's a lot of obstacles with all the pillars and other cars and
Yeah.
stuff. In trees, if you were to run into a tree with a car, there's a good chance you wouldn't make it.
Exactly.
Like a big, solid tree. So basically, it's a bunch of concrete trees
Yeah.
in an area, and you have to meander around it and weave and avoid them. So, and it's always incredible.
Mm-hmm. Parking garages
Parking garages
are always incredible.
always incredible. And scenes
And
of parking.
elevators.
And they're really
And elevators.
expensive. I think my grandma, she was so furious with her hospital because
She's in this podcast a lot.
Yeah, I've been thinking about my grandma a lot. She's in Florida, so she has to deal with that hurricane stuff, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But her hospital just got a new parking garage, and it's like the regular size of the parking garage. $18 million.
Really?
Yeah, those things are expensive.
Yowzers. Okay. Well, that's a lot of concrete. All right. So, any other things of Baby Driver that you really were down with? Okay. Also, if there's anything you want to say that might spoil it, let's say that till the end, and then we'll do like a little spoiler alert edition.
Okay.
Also, because I do have another thing I want to say about Baby Driver,
But we just don't want to spoil it for
But I definitely don't want to spoil it because it is a good movie. So, if anybody has any more thoughts about this as we go along, just pop back in because it doesn't have to be that structured.
I think it was really cool how
Nice.
they incorporated the sign language into the movie.
Yeah, that was
because
cool.
one of the characters was deaf.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool to see. I haven't seen that many
Yeah.
high production value films.
With it, yeah. So, you guys can watch the trailer. Everybody knows how to watch trailers, but just to give a general description, there is a kid who's probably like 18 or 19, I would say.
I think he's like 21.
21. Okay, so yeah, college age.
He was at a bar. He was drinking.
Oh, that's right. Okay, college aged, and he is a driver for robberies, and he owes this guy who sets up these robberies, this high level guy. He owes him because of something he did in the past. The baby, the main character, the driver,
As a baby.
as a very young person, but still a baby. When he's, I think he's. If we're going 10 years ago, they said something like that. So when he's
so
like,
he's probably like 15 or 14 or something like.
or yeah, or like
Or
12.
13.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like when he was 12 or something, he stole the car of this guy named Doc. But Doc was actually a super powerful guy. So then Doc basically blackmailed him, Baby, into driving for him and driving for his robberies that he sets up.
Yep.
And there's a lot of early on. There's a couple of very good getaway scenes, and then it just kind of goes from there.
Yeah.
So you guys can check out the trailer. It has Ansel Elgort. Is that his name?
I have no idea.
I think that's the main.
It's Ansel something.
Yeah, Ansel. So Ansel, yeah. John Hamm. John Hamm's awesome.
Oh, John Hamm.
John Hamm is
so good.
He's in Mad Men. If you've seen Mad Men, Mad Men is my favorite show by far. So I really like John Hamm. It's hard to separate him from that show.
I like to think of like I haven't seen that much of Mad Men, but where I left off, I'm gonna pretend that this character in Baby Driver that John Hamm plays is a continuation of the character that where I left off in Mad Men.
So it just goes absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I could see how that could kind of work. Okay, and then Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is incredible, and Kevin Spacey is Doc, the guy who sets up these robberies that Baby Driver owes. That Baby owes a number of drives for robberies. And is there anybody else? I don't know who the actress who plays Baby's girlfriend.
Who plays Baby?
Somebody's girlfriend.
Baby's Ansel Elgort.
Oh, that's what we were talking
Yeah.
about. I thought we were talking about the
But I'm not sure who the curly-headed girl is. But
I
we'll
think her
find
name
out.
was Deborah.
Yeah, her name is Deborah.
Or Jonathan.
But music is a big part of this. So if you want to just listen to good music for almost 2 hours, just go watch this movie and you'll get a side entertainment of actual movie.
Yeah, it kind of feels like just a really long music video that you love.
Yeah, it's really good. So check it out. So Wonder Woman, we watched that last week. Any thoughts you guys want to toss out about Wonder Woman?
Let's see. She was a woman.
She's a woman.
And she was wonderful. She kicked a lot of. I think our show is PG-13, but
Yeah.
she kicked a lot of butt.
But
Butts were kicked all over the place.
World War One. It stars Gal Gadot.
I thought it was World War II.
It's World War One.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
and it's. I really like when movies like that just place a superhero person in like a normal situation. I mean, World War One was normal, but not like some crazy, insane galaxies and stuff like that. Like I know some people are super down with galaxies, but I kind of just think it's awesome when a superhero is in normal life.
Mm-hmm. And you can like relate to them, and you're like, hey, I know what that's like.
Yeah.
I mean, minus the superhero powers, but I know what that's like.
Right. And also, like, she's also very attractive.
She's
Gal Gadot. And
I would
she
be
just-
flustered in front of her. I would not have any idea what I would say.
She's very confident, and partly because she has superpowers. But I was and still am very attracted to that character, Wonder Woman. So we're waiting for Wonder Woman 2. I don't really know what the status is on that, but that was also a very good movie. So it's one of those things. It's fresh. It's not like, it doesn't feel like all the other superhero movies. And unless you hate superhero movies, then they probably all seem the same.
If you hate superhero movies, then
Yeah, this
I've got
podcast.
some words for you.
This podcast is not for you. Okay, that's Wonder Woman. All right. Okay, so would we like to toss out any movies that we've either seen recently, or some of our favorite movies, or kind of recommendations that we have for our listeners? This would be probably a great time. Well, it depends how many we talk about, but does anybody have anything that they've seen or that they want to?
I've been watching a show on Netflix. It's in it's in Spanish. It's called El Barco. It's called The Ship, and basically it's kind of like Noah's Ark but like not really. Like there's like some connections they draw, but it's more like, oh no, we're on this boat and everyone else in the world is dead, and so that's the general idea.
Right.
If you start watching it, you will not stop. It is a great show.
El Barco.
El Barco.
Okay. I've been recommending lately, the two movies I've been recommending. Number one is Sicario, and that came out in 2015, and it's spelled Sicario.
Where can I find this show?
This is a movie.
Oh, where can I find this movie?
Well, you're gonna have. I watch it on this site, but just if you have a chance to watch this movie at some point, watch it. It's about the drug situation across the border, and a lady who works for the FBI gets kind of roped into this search for a certain drug.
I've seen that one.
Okay, yeah, it's really good, and it's like a 90-some% of Rotten Tomatoes.
I think a lot of it is like border politics or like the stuff like I never thought about a lot of the things that happened in the movie. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, there's a lot of like restrictions and stuff, and so they bring this lady who works in the FBI along, and kind of keeps her. They kind of keep her in the dark a little bit, so they can use her. What would you call it? Like,
She's what's that thing? A notary. So like she's basically a notary where it's like, hey, I need to sign this document, but I mean she's more important than that. But that's how they treat her.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a good movie, and also the other one. This is like I'm giving one like in the action genre, and then also one in the non-action genre, or like I don't really know where I describe it, but it's called Midnight in Paris, and this came out in 2010, I believe. It's about a writer in modern day who visits Paris with his fiance, and then I don't really know much they show in the trailer, so I don't want to give it away because there's a really big like twist. I don't know, probably within 20 minutes of the beginning of the movie.
Everyone dies. Is that the twist?
No, but that wouldn't be bad either.
What was the twist?
And so you can watch a trailer for that one, but if you like Paris or any type of, there's like a lot of cool shots of Paris, and this stars Owen Wilson and Rachel McAdams and other people, but it has a lot about writing and historical writers. But watch a trailer for that one just to kind of get an idea how much they actually show, because I'm not really sure what I should be giving away right now for maximum effect. And
should we do the teaser alert thingy where we give away the ending? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we want to talk about the end of Baby Driver. So if you haven't seen Baby Driver, the podcast is over for you. And just come back, tune in for the next episode. We'll be back with more stuff. I don't really know what we're going to talk about next time. Maybe we'll just review another movie. But at some point, also, I'll create a personality test of my own that we're going to do. So that'll probably be the next episode. But for now, if you have not seen Baby Driver and do not want the ending ruined, shut this thing off. Okay, end of Baby Driver. This is what I liked a lot. In a lot of movies, when the girl finds out the guy is actually a bad person, or not a bad person, but like in some bad stuff, they always freak out and like, is it over all of a sudden and all those things. But she was totally down.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It's like,
she's like, at first she had like a little quizzical look on her face, and then she's like, yeah, he killed a guy, or he shot a guy literally 5 minutes ago. Like, she was totally down.
She is
and I was
respectable. Well, I think the thing is
awesome.
like the area. Like I think she like had that rough upbringing type of thing where it was like her parents are all dead, and so like she's like, well, I mean, come on, what are you gonna do?
Right. It was awesome. I was totally down with it. That was really cool. I was like, oh yes, all right. And then they still didn't get away.
But then they definitely didn't get away.
Also, another thing with that movie, we were talking about it last night, is it felt like it should have ended 4 times. Like there was 4 times. Like it kept like having these climaxes.
Like on the bridge.
Yeah.
Like it should have ended there where they're like, oh, the cops are showing up,
cops.
and like he's getting arrested.
Or they're even driving away. It's like, okay, they're home free.
Yeah.
They're on 20. They're driving west on 20.
Where else could have ended?
Yeah. Well, even like it could have ended. He could have shot him and be dead in the diner. But then they went back and he followed them back in the police car.
John Hamm, the bad guy.
Yeah, and then
Jason
he trapped
Van
off the parking garage. And then he climbs out.
No. He hopped out as his
He
father.
hops out and then points him.
I think it would have been really funny if they had ended the movie when Baby killed what's the actor?
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx.
Just stop it right there.
Yeah, like
That was hilarious.
So there's this part where Baby and John Hamm and the bad girl, and then Jamie Foxx are all in the car, and Jamie Foxx is freaking out on Baby, and Baby's like okay, and like he drives the car forward, and like this spear thing goes straight through Jamie Foxx's chest.
There's like
It's like a bunch of lead or something. I don't know what it
yeah,
is.
they're leaving the post office from the robbery, and Baby's like freaked out and he won't drive, and Jamie Foxx is screaming at him. And there's a pickup in front of them with the construction equipment, and there's like I don't really know what it was, but it was a bunch of like wood or something in the back, and then Baby just slams it, and the wood goes through the windshield and hits Jamie Foxx and pierces him and dies.
It was really interesting seeing Jamie Foxx die like that.
That was pretty tragic. I kind of like Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
He was kind of he was a freaky but super insightful person in that movie. Like he was really observant of people, and like he read John Hamm's whole history.
Oh yeah, you could definitely like I felt the psychoness of all of the characters.
Oh, yeah,
Jamie, John Hamm.
Right.
Like when I like looked at John Hamm, I was like, "You are a scumbag, you scumbag, dude." Because like he had the scruff all the time, he had the tattoos, he had the sunken in eyes.
Yeah.
Oh,
The other
this
thing,
girl thought it was like super hot and stuff that he stabbed that guy.
Yeah.
And then wanted him to do that.
3
to
guys.
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, how
That
John
was
Hamm
funny.
stabbed 3 guys.
I like how John Hamm. You know, there's some people who are. This is actually should have gone before the teaser because this is before the spoiler,
The warning.
because this is a general thing that I think is kind of cool. You know how some people are not cool, but somehow people are super. They're really nice to cover up how potentially angry they can get.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like that when he was kind of befriending Baby, like listening to music together and stuff, and kind of like being his buddy and whatnot. And he's always kind of defending him. But sometimes there's people that are like, they push the niceness out because they have like these demons, like just like these really, like, and he goes insane at the end of the movie. John.
Yeah, so John Hamm's character and then Jamie Lee Foxx's characters. I feel like so John Hamm covered up his like insanity, whereas Jamie Foxx didn't, and it fit their characters because Jamie Foxx had been a criminal the whole time, whereas John Hamm had been like this Wall Street guy.
Yeah, and Jamie Foxx wasn't like, he was crazy, but he wasn't so crazy that he felt like he had to cover it up.
Yeah,
he was just a pretty crazy. And there's a lot of like little twists and like them tossing in. Oh, I guess we're past the spoiler alert, so everybody's already seen it. I really like when they bring the kid in. Like we haven't seen the little kid. We haven't seen the kid at all. And then an hour in, they just pull this little.
There's this
kid.
like the nephew of the gang boss.
Yeah,
goes
Kevin
along
Spacey's
with
nephew.
Baby into scope out the post office for a job, and it's like, where did this kid come from?
Yeah.
But okay, it works.
And then when they went to go get for some reason they had to go get weapons the night, like at 10 o'clock before the robbery.
Yeah.
The night before the robbery, and then that little weird guy in the warehouse.
Yeah.
then
So there's an
like
arms
4 foot
dealer.
tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was just the wackiest character ever, and it was driving me insane. But luckily, he got killed. So that made me
Luckily,
happy.
yeah. So a lot of good stuff. Yeah, a lot of cool cars and a lot of like driving stuff, but they didn't like take up the whole movie with that.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Like
is
it
kinda
was
cool.
all actual characters. They were
Yeah.
like everything had its spot. It wasn't like this is a car movie. All we do is cars.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I feel like this is a movie, and we talked about this earlier, that everybody will like. And so if you haven't seen it, but you listened through the spoiler alert, and you haven't watched it, you should watch it. Check it out. Anything else you guys want to talk about this movie or Wonder Woman or any other movies in general?
Well, I probably won't have time the rest of the semester, considering I have like another class coming up, so my schedule's about to be like insane.
Really wanky.
So
Nice. Yeah. Oh, actually, never mind. We'll say that for next time.
but,
Okay. Well, I think that's that.
That should do it.
That should do
Sounds
it.
good.
All right. That was a great movie. Wonder Woman was a great movie last week, and we'll see you guys in episode 7.
woo!
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
do it.